Get it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Justin from Off the Real Podcast. And tonight I'm really excited about our guest. It's a guy I've known pretty much my whole life. Very impressive gentleman, great coach, great father. And with no further ado, let's get right into it. How you doing, Tyrone?
Man, I'm doing good, Justin, man. Thanks for having me on.
You're well. This is Tyrone Carter. He's accomplished some great things. Why don't I guess we'll go backwards, but where are you at right now?
Right now, I'm in Huntsville. I actually live in Conroe here in Texas, and I work at Huntsville High School as I'm actually coaching defense now, so I'm a defensive back coach in Huntsville.
Very nice, very nice. And to keep it recent, your son just left to go play college football. Is that correct?
Yeah, we actually just dropped him off this past Sunday at Lamar University down in Beaumont. He's gonna play running back, wide receiver. I mean, athlete gonna play wherever they want him to play. So that was pretty exciting. A little nervous about it too, but man, it was. I'm happy for him. You know, my wife's happy. We're nervous. First child going off to college, but it's gonna be a good time for him.
And man, you brought up your wife. I should touch on something. You guys have been together for what, almost 20 years at this point, right?
Yeah, man. She finally said yes to all the times I asked her out back in '99. So shit, it's been about 20 years. We've been going
And
strong. You know, we've been married since '09, May 9th, 2009. So it's been good.
that's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing. And I guess let's go backwards. I know, but we're gonna tell the people you're from Hillsborough, Texas.
Yeah. So from
Uh,
Hillsborough, Texas, graduated 2002. Um, like I said, currently I'm in Huntsville. I moved to Huntsville in 2018 as a receivers coach. The team we were a part of, we went 12-2. We lost in the fourth round. This past year, my son's senior year, we lost in the third round. We played some pretty good football, 5-11 the last 2 years. Before coming here, I was in Groesbeck for 2 years as the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach. Prior to Groesbeck, man, I was in Medina Valley down in San Antonio, which I was offensive coordinator and I coach receivers. Me and my partner co-OC that job out there. I was in Dale Valley and Austin area for 2 years as the offensive coordinator, QB coach. Helped the head coach get that program going, and he's rolling now, man. Before that, I was in Hutto for 3 years. Got that program back rolling, man. They're all the way up to 6A. Went from 2A to 6A. 3 years there. That's kind of where everything started going good for us. My first 3 years as an offensive coordinator, and I started my career in Fort Worth as a receiver coach at Fort Worth Arlington Heights High School back in '08. So, my journey's been kind of all over 35. We jumped over to I-45 this last year, and it's been, I mean, it's been good. The journey's been good, man. I played football at the University of North Texas from '02 to '06. Won 4 consecutive conference championships. Had a great time there, man. I went in as a walk-on, earned a full scholarship. So hard work has just been part of me, man, just the whole life. So nobody's ever given me anything. That's kind of like where I'm at now. I have a master's degree in education, a bachelor's degree, and then I'm also a certified administrator.
And I wish we had a studio audience so we could give you a round of applause, man. Uh, Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. I know exactly, know you from the beginning, so it's a great story and just super impressive. Let's talk about some of the players that you've coached in your career that have gone off to do impressive things.
Okay, well, I mean, I start back in Fort Worth, man. I had a receiver that was just raw, talented kid. Didn't really know how to handle him. I was still young, way behind the ears. His name was Marquise Jackson. He went on to the University of Kansas, played receiver, They moved him to running back. They used him all over the field. Man, I had the opportunity to coach him for 2 years, and it was just phenomenal of what he is and what he's done. He ended up stopped playing football at Kansas and ended up playing basketball at the University of Lady on the Lake in San Antonio. Just a great, great athlete, great kid. So that was one of my first kids to coach and to be build a relationship with, man, and that's going well. I hadn't talked to him in a while, and I know he's back in Fort Worth with his mom and everything, but that's one of the first kids that I had the opportunity to coach. Then, man, I went on to Hutto, and in Hutto, man, it's unique. I coached quarterback for the first time in my career, and I was able to get this kid, man, and coach him for 2 years, and he went on to play quarterback at the Louisiana Tech University. His name's Ryan Higgins. Me and Ryan have a great relationship, man. Me and my wife actually went to his wedding, I believe last year. He got married in Austin, and he invited me to his wedding, so I got to go see him and some other kids that I coached that was in the same grade as him that graduated from Hutto. So it kind of made me seem old that I had a kid that I coached actually get married. But he was, man, you talk about a kid that would take a game over and they'll put an S on his chest and turn into Superman. He was that type of player, and he displayed that all at college at Louisiana Tech. And I got to take Tyree, my son, my oldest boy, me and the head coach, Steve Hale, who's now at Hillsborough. We got to take our kids and watch him play in a bowl game at TCU against the Navy Academy. And he tore it up, man, like 500 yards. I mean, he tore it up, but a great game. So all on ESPN. That was pretty outstanding. But also there, man, I coached Brandon Douglas, who played at the University of Rice. He was one of my quarterbacks. And I coached a receiver, Davion Davis, who's a phenomenal athlete that played at Sam Houston State University. He leads the Southland Conference in receiving touchdowns. Got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. That's cool. And we saw him a couple of times here in Huntsville since I moved here. We saw him a couple of times, and he remembers all this stuff, man. Just been able to talk, can't believe how my kids have grown and stuff like that. So that's been pretty outstanding. One of the most prolific players I ever coached was this kid named. It was back in Fort Worth. He was a freshman. His name was Ashan Robinson. I got to coach him for 1 year, and he was on my JV basketball team as a freshman, and he was huge. He looked like Shaq. And he ended up he was supposed to go to the University of Texas, and flipped his offer and ended up going to Alabama. So he played at the University of Alabama, ended up going and playing for the Detroit Lions. We got an opportunity to watch him last football season. He came down to Houston and played in a preseason game against the Texans. So then my little son got to watch him. We screaming his name while the game's going on. So he's one of the big ones, man, and doing good things in the NFL.
I was going to ask you, how important do you think it is, the coach and player relationship?
Man, I think it's big. I really think it's big time. A lot of these players, some of them don't have father figures at home, and them being able to link up with you and you being able to relate to them on their level goes a long way. Some people don't understand what it takes for a young man to grow up without a dad. And coaches had the biggest impact on me growing up. And so that's why I even got into the profession. I believe that we can change kids' lives. I always do a job of like telling my story. Like I grew up with nothing, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, 3 brothers, grandma, mom, dad wasn't around. But I still found a way and found something deep down inside of me to change my family tree. I changed my generational poverty that we've had. Like I'm changing all that, man. My kids are gonna go to college because mom and dad went to college. Me and my wife talk about it all the time, man. The relationships that you build with these kids, man, they really, really, really do last a lifetime.
Yeah, man, that's a great thing. Let's talk about your son. I guess taking that relationship one step further. How was it coaching your son? And that process has to be nerve-wracking.
Man, it was at times, man. you put in so much work outside of the game, outside of the field house, and don't nobody ever see it. They think that your kid is being put in positions because that's the coach's kid. But they didn't see the hours that the kid put in work when nobody was watching, when he was at home or when they were by themselves, the studying, the preparation that went into them being able to put themselves in that position. And then, man, this year actually was a blessing. I wasn't his position coach. I was just on the coaching staff that coached him. So I got to sit back really and be his fan, and we got to walk up together after practice and me say, boy, you didn't turn that, but you didn't catch that ball in sprint, and he was like, I did, yes, I did. And I was like, all right, we got to like talk about practice, talk about how he did without me being the person that was getting on his butt. So it was really a blessing to be able to like just sit back and watch him and be his fan and critique him a little bit without being the person that was on his butt all the time.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear how he does going forward. So I guess as an administrator with all of this craziness going on, how do you see the future of sports changing?
Well, my biggest thing is that we have to be safe. We got to find a way to keep the kids safe. Get a hold of this pandemic. The world, here in Texas, the governor just, put down a requirement for everywhere you go to wear a mask. If I have a mask on, you have a mask on, it cuts down the infection rate. All we're trying to do as a state, man, is to get the infection rate, to get the spread under control so that we can live a normal, active life. The kids, there's nothing better than face-to-face teaching with children. I think that they learn better like that. The virtual world, man, it's an untapped market, but I think kids need to be in the presence of everybody, of other kids. They need to be in the presence of other adults so they get that social interaction. Because not everybody is growing up the same way. Not everybody is being able to live a life to where they can know how to address people, know how to speak to people, know how to shake somebody's hand or greet somebody. They learn a lot of that interaction is learned at school. So I believe that as long as we continue to be safe, we turn the curve of this virus that we have going on right now, this pandemic, that things will be okay. No one really knows what to expect. The state and they said the schools are going to be open in the fall. So right now, everybody's just trying to figure out a way to make sure that everybody is safe. Keeping these kids safe is going to be the number one priority. It's always the number one priority, keeping them safe and giving them a well-rounded education.
And that's a great answer. I expected you to, obviously safety first. So man, we're close to wrapping it up. I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to kind of have a little fun now. Tell me a couple of your favorite memories from Hillsborough High School athletics.
Oh man, okay. So one of my favorite memories is so we went to a track meet in Teague, Texas, and it was freaking freezing cold. And when everybody else had left, we didn't know the track meet was canceled until we got there. And we got there and it's cold, and our head coach, Coach Hill, was like, "Well, man, we drove by with, so we might as well run." And I'm like, "Man, we were all like, what is cold? It's raining." And so we get out and run the mile relay. It's the only race we run. We run the mile relay against Teague in the freezing cold, and he puts several different kids out there, and my team is winning. I'm running around that last leg. I'm going. And Robert McGill is running the anchor for the varsity sprint mile relay. And we come down the home stretch. I think I'm finna win here. He comes, walks me down, man, and just passes me on the home stretch of the track. And I remember that like it was cold. And then my favorite memory was my senior year in the playoffs. We hadn't won a playoff game in 46 years. We made the playoffs my senior year. We're playing Lake Worth. They're 10-0. Haven't lost, they hadn't lost all year. They got 2 6'5" receivers, a stud running back, then we picked to lose. And we go down, man, and we shock them. We win. Your boy has a pick, and I have a touchdown. I also muffed a punt at halftime, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But and that right there was a memory, man. And Hillsborough hadn't won a playoff game since, so that's probably one of my best memories. And then also when our basketball team, your senior year, our basketball team plays 3 rounds deep, and we come up a little short against Graham was one of the best memories. And just those memories of making the playoffs, making some runs, and enjoying our time, man. As kids, you look back on it now and you just can't believe it. We always talk about if I had one more shot, one more play.
So. It's crazy. You say that. I can replay that final shot that Mike missed over and over in my head. I see the ball go in, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like this much.
The things we go through early in life, man, teaches us lessons that last us a lifetime, man. If a little bit goes here, a little bit goes there, how things would be different. But everything that we go through in life, man, always helps us in the future.
I can't thank you enough for coming on. Like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I definitely want to have you visit us in a few months when school starts and check back in with us how the season's going and such.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having me on. This has been cool. My wife told my wife I was doing jumping on your podcast. She was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna jump on this podcast, man. It's gonna be a good time, man. It's been good, man. I appreciate it. I really do."
Oh man, this has been a lot of fun. Tell her I said hi. Tell the family I said hi for sure. And I want to have you back on. Maybe she'll join you and we can talk about a 20-year relationship, because I think that should be praised. That should be highlighted more. So we'll talk about that. But I'm Justin from Off the Road Podcast. That's Tyrone Carter. You guys check him out. Follow his son doing big things. And with no further ado, we're out.